for the first time from the All-City Dallas team, Owen Newkirk. And also with us, our own Jonah Javad, coming to us from just upstairs here in the WFA studios. Gentlemen, thank you as always for being with us. Owen, I'll start with you. Your first reactions to another Stars playoff win, now 6 of them in this postseason, and again in impressive fashion.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And I can't even get over, this is not a very topical reference, but the fact that Mike can quick change as fast as Diana Ross at the Super Bowl or something. I don't know how you did it. I'm still sitting there going, was that not live? How did you do that? It's like a David Blaine move or something. But besides your quick change, which, again, it's going to take me a while to get over. Yeah, look, this is one of those performances that you expect from a really good team at home. And that's exactly what they did, which is they got the business that they needed done in Winnipeg by getting a split. Came home, and to use a tennis analogy, they kind of consolidated the break. Now, if they win Game 4 on Tuesday night, then that's really when they're putting the feet to the fire for the Jets, because they'll be really stressed out. But frankly, I think the Jets are going to end up playing on Tuesday night as if their playoff lives depend on it, because they do not want to go back to Canada down 3-1.
I can do the quick change. I cannot do the red panda. I do not have that in my skill set.
You need the tearaway suit. You need the like full
that would
on.
be just like the basketball warm-ups, just the buttons all the way down the side. That'd be perfect. Jonah, what was your big takeaway from today?
It was nice to see some other guys get in the stat sheet besides Mikko Rantanen. I mean, he has just been dragging this team for the previous 4 or 5 games. But today you saw some other goals that did not have Mikko Rantanen scoring or assisting. I thought that was one nice mark. Also, I feel like Thomas Harley might be the most unsung hero of this team of this season after what happened with Miro Heiskanen's injury, just needing somebody to step up on the blue line, and he has really filled that. And so I don't think we talk about him nearly as much as we do some of the offensive players for the Stars, but you really need a strong defense to go far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and Harley has really he's been up to task.
Harley's been up to task, so has Otter. I mean, some of the shots that he's faced, especially in the last part of the Colorado round, but now through the Jets series against a high-powered offense and a physical one, too. Can't say enough about his performance in goal, Owen.
You know, here's the funny thing. I had a thought that is very premature, but we're going to say it anyway, because I don't believe in jinxes, guys. At least I'm going to tell myself I don't. No,
I'm with you.
It's
I don't
way too
either,
early.
so go ahead.
They've won half the number of games that they need to get through this round. But we're already thinking Stanley Cup, who's going to win the Conn Smythe, which is ridiculous. But so far, through the first round and 3 games, it's been the Mikko Rantanen and the Jake Oettinger show. Andrew, you're absolutely right. If you were saying who are so far the 2 best Dallas Stars in the playoffs that could be a Conn Smythe candidate, which again, I'm almost seeming ridiculous just saying it because it's too early. They haven't even won the second round, let alone 4 rounds. But it's Mikko Rantanen by a landslide with 17 points, which is obscene in itself. The fact that he had 1 point in his first 4 games. But it's Jake Oettinger. Oettinger has been outplaying Connor Hellebuck. Now, he didn't start the first round against Colorado as well as he probably would have liked, but then as the series went along, which we've seen in the past, he got better and better, and by the end, Mackenzie Blackwood started to fold against the pressure of the moment, and they won a very, very close series with the Avalanche. In this series, Jake has been really, really solid. Even in the game they lost, Game 2, it wasn't because of Otter at all, and frankly, Andrew's right. Oettinger looks like he is continuing to take steps in. I'm sure you guys noticed the Otter's better chance that started, I think, about 5 minutes into the game and went throughout. I promise you, Jake heard that, and that buoyed his emotions. He is going to feed off that.
You know who else heard it?
Hellebuck.
Connor Hellebuck.
Connor Hellebuck.
Nobody has faced more shots in these playoffs than Jake Oettinger has, and his big saves seem to come in the biggest of moments. Second period today, when Winnipeg seemed to have a surge and very easily could have been up 3-2 in that game at a couple of different points, he made big-time saves, one after the next to keep that game 2-2.
So is this going to be a de facto Team USA goaltender face-off here? Like whoever comes out of the series ends up starting next?
Should be.
I mean, sure.
Not a bad thought because, well, neither one of these goalies are thinking about it right now because they want to win a Stanley Cup, and that will be a legacy that will never get taken away. You know for sure that by the end of this series and playoff run, whomever has the better run might get a leg up. Now, look, Connor Hellebuck is probably going to win another Vezina trophy. But, and I hate to say this because I'm cheering for him when he played for the U.S. in the Four Nations, there's this little stigma that's hung around of he hasn't won the big games yet, whether it's in the playoffs in the NHL, the Four Nations, now obviously the Olympics next year. Kind of cheering for Jake, not going to lie. I mean, wouldn't we all love seeing him start? I mean, he played one game at the Four Nations and he looked good, but it would be really cool to see him win it. But frankly, that's a long way away, and right now Stanley Cup is the priority for both.
We know Hellebuck was on the wrong end of a bad bounce today, Jonah, and I'm curious from your perspective, you still have Freebird playing in your head, or can you take us through that entire sequence? Because you three were in the building, I was not, and I had the bevy of replays to kind of start figuring out what was about to happen. What was your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, you just see the puck go in, and you're not really quite sure how it happened, but it did. And then, yeah, it was like the longest review I think I've ever seen in the NHL. I'm sure there's been longer, but for being there, it felt like it was interminable. And Freebird, of course, played. And I got to give a shout out to Shippy Spins, the DJ, because it was just so on point. And then the video board graphics, just it made it like it was a moment in time. Like, so I'm thinking back to earlier in the series. I was there for Mikko's Game 7 performance against the Avs, and it was just this moment for the Stars. Today, the moment was the review because it just took forever. And the elation from the fans in Dallas when it went their way, I really believe that was a momentum boost. They were already playing well to start the third period, but when that crowd erupted that the goal was good, Mikko scored, I mean, second moments later.
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on the what if, but if that goes the other way, you wonder if the game goes the other way. So a critical goal that goes their way, a puck luck as they call it.
One more point I want to get to before we hit a break, because this is a team that we're used to seeing now make runs in the postseason. This has become the norm going back to 2019, basically. This is a veteran hockey team that knows how to win in the postseason. 4 times now in their 6 playoff wins, they've either been trailing or tied in the third period and figured out a way to seize control of the game and get the win. Pete DeBoer talked about it after the game, what they do, and just the fact that they've been able to do this now multiple times over. All 3 of the games in the first round, they trailed. And obviously everybody remembers trailing by 2 in the third period of Game 7. This is a team that just understands how to get the job done in these spots because they're not fazed by these spots anymore. And that is in itself a skill.
Absolutely. We still got a lot left to break down from Game 3 here. Stay with us on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. When we come back, talking a little bit more about Rantanen and about where the series goes from here. Stay with us. For anyone watching that Thunder series, it's a very similar blueprint to what the Stars are doing right now. Steal Game 1, get blown out Game 2, win a hard-fought Game 3. Now can the Stars break that trend and go up 3-1? That's kind of the major question mark going into this. And at a minimum, you got to think Mikko's going to factor in a lot heading into the next, hopefully, 2 or 3 games left in the series.
Jonah Javad, what were the Colorado Avalanche thinking?
I'm so glad you asked, Mike Leslie. Because I said this about a few days ago on Twitter, and I had a whole bunch of Avs fans that had been drinking the Kool-Aid out there in Denver, and I think they've been spiking it because there were a lot of them defending what? Yeah, well, listen, it's legal out there. It's not here. But they were defending the trade as if like Mikko Rantanen did not want to stay with the Avs. They were fighting over hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're like, oh, we'll get something in return as opposed to just letting him walk. Who's to say that he had to walk? You're making it sound like it had to be A or B. There was nuance. There was gray area that they still could have reached a decision, and their whole excuse was that they were going to become too top-heavy and wouldn't have had enough money for depth. Give me a break. Look what he's doing. Look what he is doing. And look what the Stars have done in building their roster. They were able to sign Mikko to that extension. They've paid a whole bunch of their young guys already because that is what smart ownership and management does. They get ahead of it. And to me, it feels very much like, I don't want to say the names, but some friends who share the American Airlines Center with the Stars.
No.
Doesn't
No way.
it sound a little bit like the old Luka trade?
And Andrew has been hoping and praying for a Luka-free show for months
Not
now.
today.
Not gonna happen.
It will
Not today.
never,
Not gonna
ever happen.
We're stuck with that forever.
Oh, and if we can continue this point, because Jonah talked about it a little bit, the discourse around the contract and what he wanted to sign for. And then he comes to Dallas and signs for a deal that I think Colorado would have probably been fine with doing. It seemed like he wanted more from Colorado than he ultimately ended up wanting from Dallas.
There are several big layers on this, and the Luka comparison is really very apt for this particular move, except that imagine that the Dallas Mavericks traded, let's say, Luka to the Orlando Magic. And then out of the blue, Luka said, I don't want to play in Orlando. It's just not my fit. I want to go to the Lakers. And then they traded, and then they played the Lakers in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Which, of course, you have to make it to the first round of the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. That's a low blow. I'm sorry.
Don't kick the dead horse, Meg.
Well, you know, as the ancient Greeks, right? You kick them when you're down. So, look, the crazy thing is that you guys were talking about this Mikko ingratiating himself to the city like very few have. It's also to fill that void that Luka left. And so I mean, if Mikko had come in here and done this, we'd all have been very excited. But to add that to the vacuum that has become what all our fandom was. I remember I went to the AAC for a Mavs game in early March, and they played the Phoenix Suns. And I'll spare you the details, but one of my sons actually likes Phoenix for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, we go to the game, and of course the Suns win. Everybody's hurt. Nobody's playing. I saw all the stars for the Mavs sitting on the sidelines in street clothes. And I remember we had a Stars game that night, so I just walked over to the DLS studios, which are just a few blocks away from the AAC. And as we were walking from our seats out through the concourse and out to the east entrance, the concourse, this was a month after the trade. And I know we're not talking about Luka. There were 77 jerseys everywhere, everywhere. And I just, it hit me again. What did they do? How could they have possibly done that? So last year, the Mavs make this wonderful run to the NBA Finals. The Stars go to the Western Conference Final. It was great. It was awful because they seemed to want to schedule them all on the same day. For Dallas sports fans, that's inconvenient, but those are very much sports first world problems. Then you sit back and go, well, that was a great run, but it sort of felt like they shared the enthusiasm, and maybe you didn't get that love affair with the city by itself, that each franchise greedily wants their own. This year, they don't have that problem. It's Stars and, well, until the Cowboys sign another player in a day.
Hey, real quick before we wrap up this segment, I want to talk about the decor just because there's been so much discourse about Miro, and at some point he's going to be back. Maybe it's for Game 4 on Tuesday. We'll see. But the job that these guys have done in his place, what Thomas Harley has done, what Esa Lindell has done, that dude is skating ridiculous minutes in these playoffs, especially on the PK. They have been really, really good. Obviously, the goal today from Petrovic, that unit has been fantastic, even despite the fact that they don't have their best player.
Well, it's not as great as Jonah's Norwegian golf shirt that he's wearing right now. But I do have to say, you're right. And one of the great things about watching the Stars succeed in the playoffs is the national and international audience gets to see what we see for 82 games, which is Esa Lindell is an absolute beast. He's such a great, reliable, steady defensive defenseman with offensive upside that I don't think he gets enough credit for. And until the Four Nations, a lot of people didn't know just how good Thomas Harley really was.